everybody, this is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the secret red Aether worm boss fight and how to find all USB sticks in MW3 zombies. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a reminder, we got plenty of brand new coverage going up over on detonated.com, expanding on all the content you're seeing here on the channel, just in the form of articles on the website and plenty of tweets every single hour on Detonated's Twitter. There's been so much to cover when it comes to multiplayer Warzone and zombies, and we got you guys covered. Hopefully you've enjoyed all my previous videos and live streams, which are going to be linked down below. But a couple of days before the launch of Season 1, we were in a creator briefing with Treyarch in regards to MW3 Zombies and the first season of content, in which they went ahead and teased a devilish looking icon. They didn't elaborate too much on what that could have meant or what we had to do to actually find that icon around Urzikstan, but now we finally know what that meant. If you guys are looking to unlock the Scorcher, Flawless Ethereum, or Legendary Aether tool plans, then stay tuned here in this video because we're going to cover exactly how to unlock them. Now, this Easter egg is relatively straightforward, but it's completely separate from the Dark Aether Easter egg that we covered in yesterday's video. Hopefully that is really clear. What you want to do is go into any of the specific rooms around Urzikstan, which do contain a couple of pictures detailing where UAV towers will be located around the map itself. Now, there appears to be multiple rooms that do feature these pictures, which I believe are in every match that you play. Just to make it fair, depending on where you spawn in, you can always go to multiple areas around Urzikstan to actually see where the UAV towers are located. We found the other room near Katavo Blocks, even though a lot of other squads out there have used the room that is located in the military base. There are a fixed number of spawns for these towers on Urzikstan, but the places they'll be in each match will be different in every game that you play. Now, your goal is to really have as many players as you can split up. This is again a tip that I gave in my Dark Aether guide yesterday, which is to try to assimilate with as many people as you can. If you have other friends that happen to matchmake into your same lobby, or if you find other players around the environment that you maybe talk to in chat and are down to do this Easter egg with you to get some pretty cool rewards, then assimilate with the biggest team that you can and split up to cover the most ground possible. Now, the crazy thing though is that once you do go ahead and find these UAV looking towers, you have to go ahead and interact with the computer to spit out a USB stick. You're looking for USB sticks which are labeled Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and even Delta. Now, the cool thing is that you can keep spitting out unlimited USB sticks, but there is a cooldown on the computer. Now, I'll try to put a tac map on screen of all the fixed number of locations that we know of right now, and I will of course update this tac map and leave a pinned comment down below when more locations are discovered. But the cool thing is that the Orlov military base does provide you some context of where these UAV towers are in that match, so it's better than just a wild goose hunt where you guys are just roaming around certain areas of the Urzikstan experience looking for where these UAV towers could be. Now, it's worth noting that for the 10 UAV tower locations that have been found and are clearly labeled here on this detonated tac map, there will typically be 1 UAV tower in a tier 1 zone, 2 in a tier 2 zone, and just 1 in a tier 3 zone. That's the most frequent RNG that we've seen, but you guys may have different experiences in the matches that you play. Now, keep in mind, if you guys do go ahead and farm these USB sticks, and let's say every member on your squad has all 4 of them, you can't actually exfil with them to save them for your next infill. They will evaporate into XP. They are not story items that could be saved. So once you go ahead and get all 4 USB sticks in that match that you're in, you're gonna have to go ahead and complete the rest of this quest unless you want to play a different game and go ahead and find the USB sticks all over again. Now, here's where things get crazy. Similar to the Serpentine Camo unlock over in DMZ, you have to wait for the storm to collapse onto a certain area of the map before you can proceed and finish this quest. Now, what's cool is there is a way to find this specific site where the Refractor machines are. All you have to do is look on your tac map and find where there's 2 ammo caches next to each other. There's nowhere else on Urzikstan where you'll find 2 ammo caches, but luckily this is exactly where the site is going to be, which also isn't that far from where the storm is going to begin to collapse. So you'll of course come up to this site and you'll see the 4 Refractor machines which match each of the USB sticks. So once the Aether storm does collapse onto this site, you can then insert each of the USB sticks into these machines, which will then trigger a boss fight. But shall I remind you, you're going to be in the storm during this boss fight, so I highly recommend the following items. You want to go ahead and stow as many gas masks as you can, and keep in mind, I'd really recommend durables, since if you guys can't find any durables, which aren't that hard to find, you can also go ahead and buy them at some of the higher tier buy stations, which aren't that expensive. Maybe buy one and then stow 2 other ones if you guys can. Make sure your team is absolutely prepared to be in the storm, and also make sure you guys buy plenty of self revives. But amongst one of the biggest tips that I have for going into this boss fight is having as many friendly dogs as you also can when going in, which means you go ahead and trade in several pieces of meat for a friendly dog, which can obviously revive you and take out other zombies in the area. Now, you can also use a dog bone if you went ahead and pulled an acquisition from around the environment, or if you got the dog bone plans from within the Dark Aether, that'll automatically spawn in a pretty tough friendly hellhound that can help you as well. They can die pretty quickly in this boss fight, but it could come in clutch if you guys want to go ahead and save your healing aura or your Aether Shroud field upgrades. Save those for absolute emergencies. But then as far as equipment goes, I would say you're really going to want to run gas grenades against the Aether Worm, which I believe deals a lot more damage than we all would have expected, and more damage than I think the gas grenade could do against the Act 4 worm or even the other worm we saw over in Act 3. I know that's been patched now, but if you guys can't run gas grenades for whatever reason or just want to run something else, then decoys and monkeys will also be your friend to keep the zombies off your back while you are focusing on this worm. Now, something that I almost forgot exists inside of MW3 Zombies is the ability to refill your gas mask health by refilling ammo at an ammo cache. And considering there's 2 ammo caches here at this site where the boss is, you have a high chance to go ahead and refill your gas mask as quick as you can. Just pay attention to the meter on your gas mask health, because if the meter runs too low, then the gas mask breaks and you're screwed unless you have a second gas mask on you or one of your teammates does. Now, if you're lucky enough to bring in the VR11 Wonder Weapon, if you guys have managed to find an acquisition or maybe you pull it from the mystery box, keep in mind not only can you boost your teammates and buff the damage they do to all the enemies, that's massive, but you can also turn all the zombies in the area into friendly mercenaries, which can also help you take down some of the random hordes and can help you even shoot the Aether Worm as well. But if there was ever a time to use the best items in your stash here in MW3 Zombies, now is that time. That's how crazy this boss fight gets. Now, if you're playing with 3 players, things are going to be relatively difficult. That's why I really recommend a simulation, whether it's your other friends matchmaking with you and somehow finding you in the same lobby, or coming across some amazing members of the zombies community and convincing them in game chat to stick with you to the very end of this match to also get their hands on some valuable loot. Now, typically when the Aether Storm does touch this Refractor site, you should have around 10 minutes to beat this, but we got a bit unlucky in our match to where we only had about 7 minutes, and so long as the worm is about half health, once you get to like 3 or 2.5 minutes, you should have enough time to go ahead and beat this. Of course, with the more players you have, the easier this will be, but you want to give yourself the maximum amount of time to go ahead and beat this worm. But if you get screwed because of the Aether Storm, don't be too hard on yourself, because there is some RNG involved as to when it touches the Refractor site. Now, the worm boss fight is pretty similar to the other worm boss fights we've already seen in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. He can do several attacks on you, many of which, or all of which, will probably insta-kill you. He can eat you up, spit you out, do a laser attack on you, he'll go underground and kind of spawn back in, and if he spawns right under you, you're also going to get insta-down, so this could be pretty tough. And again, you're in the storm taking damage, so we don't have a gas mask. Things are going to be rough here. I think this is probably the most difficult Easter egg here inside of MW3 Zombies. I mean, it's debatable considering the Elder Dark Aether or hardcore experience that we covered in yesterday's video, having to go up against, you know, tier 3 or what could be considered tier 4 zombies while doing contracts. That's tough, but this right here just requires a lot of patience, and I think one of the biggest obstacles in getting to this boss fight is preventing crashing, right? I would say drive the least amount of vehicles that you have to in a match. We've seen a lot of really weird stability problems with the launch of Season 1, so it's really unfortunate when you spend the time to go around the map, find the 4 USB sticks, then you're just kind of waiting around for the Aether Storm to collapse in. Obviously, that gives you a lot of time to go ahead and regain, get some vests, gas mask, get your money up, perks. Yeah, that's cool for the sake of setting up, but then that gives you more of a chance of crashing, especially if you're on a bigger squad. And then if one person crashes, we notice a domino effect where it's just one by one, people just start disconnecting left and right. So that gets really frustrating. So I would say if you guys out there have a lot of issues with getting to the end of a match at MW3 Zombies, give it a couple of days and stability should be fixed. But I get it with FOMO. You guys don't want to go ahead and wait to get some of these legendary schematics and some of these plans that could really improve your gameplay experience. So you're probably going to want to jump in as soon as you can. I get it. I'm the same way, especially as a content creator. The more communication you have with your team to take down this boss, the better this will go. And eventually, once you've killed the Aether Worm, hopefully it wasn't too much trouble, you will then see a reward rift with some insane looking rewards here at the very end. Now, what's cool is that when you do finish this red Aether Worm boss fight, you're not expected to somehow make your way to the final exfil or anywhere else around the map. An exfil portal will spawn upon finishing this fight, allowing you to immediately exit the game upon finishing it. Obviously, it would be incredibly difficult to make your way anywhere around the map, especially if you use all the time you possibly have left while the storm is collapsing in to go ahead and defeat this boss. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this bonus red Aether Worm boss fight, which did get teased in the Season 1 marketing, and when we didn't notice it in the Dark Aether grind that we were doing yesterday, we're like, oh, there must be something else you could do in Season 1 that we haven't found yet, and what do you know, there is. What are your thoughts on the USB stick Easter egg and having to wait for the Aether Storm to collapse onto that Refractor site? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.